Hey everyone, welcome back to the Virtual Investor. Michael and Paul here, and we're going to go over some more deal reviews and just go over a couple samples and show how we come up with the comps and all that kind of stuff there for you. I'll hand it off to you here, Mike.
Let me know when you can see it, Paul.
Okay.
Good?
Not up yet. Let's see.
Oh, I got it here. Something else popped up. I'm going to skip a step. There we go. Good now?
There we go. Yep, now I can bring it up. Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So kind of walk through two recent deals that we've done here today. And the first is in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, kind of centralist Pennsylvania, where we've done plenty of deals in the past. And the way we got this property is first we acquired it through an online REO auction. And once we did kind of our normal due diligence process, right? It's, we analyzed the property. Did it make sense? If so, when it did, we reached out to a local agent, and we actually worked with a local agent that we've, Paul's known for probably 20 years now, right, in that area. So those are great connections to continue to have when you're doing properties virtually. And the way we funded this property was through a private lender. So that was how we got the funding on the deal. And then for the repairs, this is pretty much just a wholesale. The only thing we paid was $100 some bucks for it to de-winterize the house. That way the end buyer could kind of do their inspection on the property. Anything to add there, Paul, so far?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It's a nice, simple, basically a wholesale type of deal, but not even a rehab or a wholesale, right? We're basically just buying this, relisting it as is. If we find out the buyer needs certain repairs done, maybe we'll do those repairs, or maybe we'll just give them a credit.
Yeah. And then here's just the listing on Redfin. You can see it's contingent, so it's under contract. We have it under contract with the seller right now. And just give people a flavor what the property looks like. Pretty decent condition. Nice little yard, shed,
Deck.
Yep. You can see here it's dated a little bit, but clean and livable. Some updates to the vanity there, but someone coming in here with a fresh coat of paint and some new flooring could do wonders on this property.
Yeah, so even HVAC is in pretty good shape on that too. If you look at those pictures, HVAC and plumbing, they look relatively newer.
Yeah, so basically, right, it's overall the bones, mechanicals, everything's operational, good condition, and then it's just cosmetic stuff that someone could easily get a good property at a good deal for them and then make it to what their liking is. And figured run some comps on this one. So this is the Zillow ad, and the way we kind of looked at it real quick here is move this thing here. As you can see here, this property is basically just in a neighborhood. And what we did was, initially did our analysis on the property. Oh, having some troubles here with Zillow. You just kind of circle the development, like get comps just in that area. We know it's a home, so we just filter out anything else. In a development like this, all you're going to get is homes, but sometimes in some areas you're going to have multifamily lots, etc. So let's just focus on the properties, and then we'll kind of look at 12 months here. And I think, what was the property square footage? I forget already. Call it.
I think it was at 1,800 or 1,600.
Okay. If that's the case, it's just do 15 to 2,000. But I'm guessing it's a little bit tighter, so kind of hit apply. Not many comps there, which is strange. I'm wondering if it's a square foot issue here, because on our property they had nothing. So yep. Sometimes in Zillow they don't post in certain neighborhoods the square footage, so you got to kind of figure it out, and then just kind of see what properties look like here. These are new construction, so you could kind of take them out. One way to do that is just to, maybe this home was probably built in the 19s. So just apply here, anything after 2000, and remove them. And now you got more comparable properties. And you can kind of see here on the high end, something nice is probably 325 here. Again, some dated too. The cabinets aren't original or are brand new, but updates here, paint, flooring. So on the high end in this neighborhood, you're getting 325, and then on the low end, This is actually our property. So probably on the low end, you're looking at low twos essentially.
Yeah.
And the property, going back to it, is, it was, bids were in the, around 100. We ended up winning the property at 105 with buyer's premium that put us about 110 and change. Add in some transfer tax, like 2% Pennsylvania, some closing costs and holding costs with the private lender, what we were expecting here, we would be all in for about 119. And we knew the as-is value, talking to local agent and doing our analysis, probably needed to be about 150 given how dated it was on and what the repairs would needed. And then basically what happened is what we thought would happen. We got an offer on the property for 159.9. And when you bake out the seller's assist, that just netted us over 150, which is the number here.
Was our target number. We were actually right on the button with this one.
Exactly. And then we ultimately ended up with, 18,000. It's basically a wholesale deal. The only money we put into it was to de-winterize the property,
right,
for the end buyer. So that's kind of like a great example of an auction property where you didn't have to do anything into it. You buy it, hold it for like 2-3 months, and then sell it and move on. So that's a good recent example of a quick and easy wholesale we got going on right now. Anything to add there, Paul?
No, I mean, these are bread and butters. And again, this isn't a home run, or double or anything. This is a basic classic wholesale deal. I think if you talk to people that are doing the assignments contract, they're probably averaging around $12,000 to $15,000 per deal in most markets. So, I mean, this is just a little bit higher than that. And it's pretty similar, but you don't have to worry about any marketing costs. So
yeah, exactly. How much paperclip money did you have to spend to get that 18K that you mentioned just there? For us, it was zero. But someone on the direct to consumer side going to the homeowners, you have those marketing costs that you got to adjust for.
And just given the average cost right now, what I've seen at the last meeting I was at was around $4,800 is the average cost per acquisition for a wholesaler out there. So just give you guys an idea, about $5,000 a deal, what it costs in marketing costs for you to get a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point there. Good fact sharing. So that's property one. Let's jump to the next one, Paul.
Yep.
Here, the next one is in Pocola, Oklahoma, and jump to the property, show you what that looked like first, and then kind of go through the numbers. As you can see here, it's pending, right? We already bought it, and then we're under contract with the buyer.
Yeah.
And this is an example of the outside, looks average from the initial cut picture there, not the best. And then when you go on the inside, though, however, you can see here, great condition, right? Newer paint, newer flooring, cabinets probably I'm guessing 15 to 20 years old, but in great condition. Might be even newer, actually.
Yeah, that might be.
So overall, pretty good. I mean, the only thing it needs in the kitchen is a refrigerator. Yeah. And then, carpets are not brand new, but it's still in decent condition. So again, move-in ready type of house here for someone.
Yep. It's like a turnkey right here. If they want to do anything, they repaint, they put new carpet in.
Exactly. And everything else looking good for the most part in all the bedrooms and bathrooms. And some love maybe on the outside as well, right? It looks like the paint's fitting here on the post. So really, if the new homeowner is coming in here wants to put money somewhere, it might be just painting the siding or something to make it pop in the window shades here.
Yep. I would agree. And landscaping is good. It's decent enough, nothing extraordinary, but clean, a nice clean house in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah. And again, right, how do we find this, right? It's an REO online auction. Funding, again, is through a private lender to fund the deal. Repairs, we actually put $1,700 into this one, and it was towards a plumbing fix and some termite treatment, preventative treatment. And then, what investment strategy do we use? Well, originally we wanted just a wholesale, but again, we're flexible and nimble. We ended up putting in a little over, $1,700 into it. So technically it's a minor rehab there from that perspective. And what's it look like so far, the deal, right? We're all into it for 118. We put 1,700 into it, given the plumbing thing and the termites that we just mentioned. Here's some transfer tax, closing costs, expected holding costs type of thing. And then we're under contract right now with a conventional buyer at 185. And we expected a net on this deal around, call it 45,000. Again, a quick turn hold, just a few months. And it's another way to, you don't have to do a full rehab on a property to get this kind of number, essentially is what we're trying to highlight here on this property.
Yep. And we were able to figure out this was a good deal by reaching out to a local agent getting good info from them, good intel, and what the condition of the property was, what it would likely sell for. And I think it sold right in our range where we thought we were going to get
Correct. Yeah.
this property. Again, like the other one, we're right in the range. And it's not always going to be the case there, because sometimes you have unknowns that come up in repairs where it's costing a little bit more in repairs. And we kind of build that factor in when we're looking at these properties. So we do have an extra 5 or 10,000 repairs, we're still going to be okay. And this one's what, 44, almost 45K on
Exactly.
the return on this one. That's what we call like a triple, anything over 50K, a home run on a deal where we're doing next to nothing. It was a $1,200 termite treatment and a minor plumbing repair. So really not a whole lot to go with this one. And it should, with a conventional mortgage, much easier to go through and close than it is on an FHA mortgage or a VA mortgage, where they'd be more picky with peeling paint, with any kind of issues that trip hazard, uneven flooring. That's where you're running into issues with FHA and some of those. But with conventional, it's nice and simple. This one, I believe, is closing in December, around December 21st or 23rd, if I recall. So right before Christmas here. And it's a great one. It's a super ideal type of property, and again, no marketing costs.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to highlight too, something is, right, a lot of people, when they get into real estate investing and they think of wholesaling, they're thinking of this essentially tear down property, or it's got to be gutted to the studs, or some kind of foundational issue. That's the only way you're going to make money. And then just get it under contract, got to get rid of it real quick in 3 weeks, and then sell it to an investor who's probably going to beat you up on price because they got to get low and make a profit. You kind of like step back and think about it a little bit differently, like we do. These are 2 examples of wholesale type of properties, right? We put minimum effort into, not effort, but minimal work into these things, just de-winterizing or just some termite treatment and a minor plumbing fix. If it's a deal and you think you have a right number for it, instead of just trading paper or signing a contract, find someone to fund the deal, close on it, and now put it on the MLS with an agent. And you could then open up to a massive buyer pool to everyone, not just investors. And a homeowner is going to be more willing to pay more for this property than maybe an investor, and thus increasing your spread on a wholesale deal. So just trying to get some people to think a little bit differently from the traditional wholesaling model that's kind of been taught out there forever, where, get it under contract and sell that contract to someone else. Actually, if you think it's a deal, back it up, find a lender for it. There's plenty of capital out there for deal flow, and they'll fund it on a short-term basis for you, and then list it on the MLS, and you could get greater returns by opening up to the broad market.
Yeah, and that's what we've done over the past, 4 or 5 years, Mike. We've really opened up to the MLS, especially as the market got heated up, and we get way better margins on our properties. We're just, like you said, so many more eyes on the property. So you are going to get more competition. You'll get bidding wars at times, and multiple offer situations. So it's definitely a better way to do it. And let's pivot a little bit and talk about the differences, just for our channel here, for people who listen to our channel, the difference between the direct mail marketing, which we used to do, we cut that off in 2013, compared to the REO, which I've always done since 2001 when I got started in it with no marketing cost. Talk a little bit about because you were heavy involved, Mike, from 2008, 9 call till around 11 or 12. Maybe even 13, where you did the direct mail, or you did pay-per-click and all that. Talk a little bit about what you need to do that, and how much work goes behind it, and how big of a team you need for that.
Yeah. I would almost say is like, when I did that model, you're not really a real estate investor. You're a sales and marketing company at that point, right? Like you said, it's you're getting data, minimizing lists to figure out, who should I mail this piece of postcard or letter to? Is it a landlord list with high equity, or is it a pre-foreclosure list, or, is it an expired listing list, et cetera, right? So you're crafting marketing messages. Now you can't just send out one letter. You have to do multiple letters over weeks or over months, depending on the motivation of the list. That's just one marketing channel you have to do. Then you got to spend on all these kind of like AdWord clicks, whether it's like a Google pay-per-click, like Sell House Fast in Philadelphia, for example. Those cost monies per click. And then when someone calls right away or fills out a form, you got to jump on it right away, because 10 other people are probably getting that same lead. And now you have to have your acquisition person, boots on the ground, go out there, make the phone call, et cetera. So you essentially create a lead gen company, and real estate happens to be a byproduct at the end of the day. But what most people then do is get this under contract, And instead of taking it down and listing on MLS and trying to maximize your return, they quickly try to sell that contract in 2 to 3 weeks. And it's a whole different type of business on the disposition side. And now it's like a mad scramble to save that deal to get it to an investor and to actually get paid.
Yeah. And then you have the headaches of if it's an occupied property, when can you show the property? Because I see a lot of wholesalers, they try to set up showings, they have to cancel an open house because now the seller, the real true seller of the house, their schedule changed. They have to be there. They, for whatever reason. So they have to cancel. You have to reschedule. There's so many different moving parts in that business, and you need so many people. You need an acquisition manager. You need a disposition manager. You need somebody to handle the A to B, B to C contract, right? You need transaction coordinators. Yep. VAs will always be helpful in there too. But with what we do, we have a couple of VAs. It's you and I. And we have another acquisition manager who really we trained, and he does the acquisitions now. And we're just involved in doing some of the private lending as far as finding private lenders and just the disposition side, really. So It's simplified things for us. We could turn it on and off whenever we want, which you can't do in direct mail or you can't do in pay-per-click. But I'll talk a little bit more about that direct mail, pay-per-click, and the text blasting and all that, cold calling. Sometimes the text blasting works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes cold calling works, sometimes it doesn't. And these guys are constantly going back and forth, figuring out what's working right at that point. Direct mail has always been a pretty good tried and true way of doing it.
Yeah.
Pay-per-click is good, but it can get really costly depending on what markets you're in. So you have so many different factors to come in. Like Mike said, you're basically a marketing company and real estate becomes your byproduct. For us, we are exclusively looking at real estate. We don't have any marketing costs. Our only costs are our acquisition costs and closing costs and holding costs that we have there. So we keep our costs down. Plus, we could turn it on and off whenever we want. If we wanted to shut it down for a month, do nothing, go to France. Like Mike went to France for a week and a half with his family this year. You can go ahead and do that, right? It's a lot easier to shut it down. It's a total different type of business than that business. And that's one I don't want to get back to. And Mike and I talk about this all the time, all the headaches that business was. This model is just so much more simple.
Yep.
Think about it this way too. You can have a ton of acquisition managers that don't cost you anything. We use realtors in different markets. Like Mike said earlier, Jeff Walker, the guy we use here in Pennsylvania, I've been buying properties from him for 20 years. If he has a good deal, he can bring it to us. We have guys in Tucson, Arizona, Casper, Wyoming, people that can bring us deals. So you have an army of free acquisition managers for you. And if you set it up right and do your processes right, it's a rinse and repeat, right? Plus the MLS, which is a whole other animal.
Yeah, good points.
So lots of different ways to skin a cat here, but we feel we've kind of, coined the market here, and we're in a pretty good situation, and we really enjoy what we're doing here without all those headaches of marketing costs and all the other people that we need to deal with. We don't need to deal with all those people. We just deal with the auction companies, bank REO agents, and title companies and lenders, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So is it the way you acquire properties and get rid of them aligns with our lifestyle choices that we want?
Totally. Yeah, it is completely a lifestyle choice. And if we wanted to, Mike and I could sit there and go on Zillow and look at different markets and find deals that are just listed for sale by owner on Zillow or just listed on Zillow. I think the duplex I bought in Ambler about 4 years ago was one that just popped up on Zillow, and I contacted the seller through Zillow and bought it and renovated it, rented it for a year and a half, and then turned around and sold it. So you can find deals anywhere, right? And these are free. They're just your time and energy you're putting into it for your due diligence on these properties. So keep that in mind. If you want to learn more too, we got REOauctionacademy.com where you can go take a look. And we have a free webinar, if I'm not mistaken, on that one there. So they can go through
a little bit deeper dive and everything we just talked about today.
Yep. And the coaching program, we have multiple different levels on it. So reach out to us if you're interested. We'd be happy to have you join the group and learn how to do real estate investing the way we do it. All right. Anything else to add, Mike, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I figured we'd hop on in another week or two and share some more deals that we've recently picked up and closed on, and keep talking about, how we're finding these kind of easy wholesales and different ways to get people to think about real estate transactions.
Totally. Yeah, we got one in Northern Cambria, PA coming up. Again, Jeff Walker, the agent, brought that one to us. We have another one coming up in Michigan. So we'll probably look at those two, if not a couple other two that we're in the midst of closing on. Alrighty, guys. Thank you again.